Welcome to this is week 3, right? Of our dream team back to basics training. And we're going to be talking about 6 weeks to elite tonight. So maybe when you hear 6 weeks to elite, you are thinking back to maybe a Facebook group that you have done in the past called 6 Weeks to Elite, or maybe you've done a launch group or something like race to silver, sprint to silver, all these different things that we've done in the past, right? And none of those things were bad. A lot of them were successful. A lot of them helped a lot of people. But I just want you to know right off the bat, like, this is not a Facebook group. This is not like a thing where we're going to get in and put up like 100 people in and post all this content. Like, this is all going to be on your own. Of course, you can couple up. There you go. Tane's got hers printed out. Of course, it's always great to have an accountability partner. It's always great to work with your upline. But this is not going to be a Facebook group. And this may overlap with some of the things that you've done in the past. But I know that I've never done all of these things the way Elise has taught us to do them. So if you'll just trust the process and do this, I promise you're going to have great results. And we're all doing this right along with you. Those of us that are beyond elite, we can still use this to relaunch. And those of us that are brand new, we can do this to launch our business. And it's a great way for you to duplicate this and have something very already planned out for your new CCs, which we're going to talk about what a CC is, your new builders to do once they want to get started with you, okay? Okay, so I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint here. Okay, so 6 weeks to elite, the key to creating massive action and building a solid foundation. And Elise talks about the importance of a foundation in the daily mentor call. So I'm not going to rehash everything that she says in that mentor call. It's actually, that one is a webinar that's recorded on YouTube, and it's a link in the daily mentor call. So make sure you go and listen to that in addition to tonight, because I'm not going to cover it all exactly the way that she did, but this will be an overview and some practical tips to get you started. So why is elite important? Hold on, I gotta move my little thingies here. Okay, there we go. Elite's important because it's the foundation rank, right? Everything starts here, and we need to be masters of duplicating this process. So learn to take someone from 0 to elite quickly and then duplicate this over and over again. If we don't, or we can't do this, we may get lucky for a while, but we'll run out of luck eventually. If you can master this one system, you can go presidential diamond. Who wants to go presidential diamond? I do. We all should have that as a goal, right? To keep growing our teams. You can grow to a silver. We all know a silver is 3 elites, right? Have you ever thought of a platinum as being 9 elites or a diamond as 12 elites? When you think about it that way, it simplifies it, right? Presidential diamond is 54 elites. And the average salary of a presidential diamond is $1.3 million a year. So mastering this system is worth it to me. Is it worth it to you? Okay, helping people get to elites.
Allison, sorry to interrupt. Are you recording?
Yes.
You're recording?
I thought I was, but maybe I'm not.
No. I was just
making. I am. Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Thank you for checking, because sometimes I forget. So you can go through this program for yourself first so that you can teach your team from experience. So all of us that went to Prague, we are all doing this. We're all prepping now to do our 6 weeks to elite. And so no matter where you are in your business, you can use this as a launch. 6 weeks to elite is how you start every single new builder from now on. It's also a great restart if you're feeling stuck. And you're going to use the business builder worksheets every month. Otherwise, you won't know where you are or what you need, and you will struggle. Teach your team to use these every month and go over them together. I looked for these today Kristen, do you know where those, I saw the ones from Empowered Success, but I couldn't find the ones that Elise gave us that were really simplified. But we'll find them, we'll post those in Dream Team, okay? And a builder worksheet is just circles on a page with your placeholders, okay? So for Elite, it's really simple, right? It's three circles. But if you're trying to build your team to other ranks, you're going to need that. So 5 steps. You're going to choose a launch week. Step 2, you're going to make a list and sample. We talked about these already in the first few calls about how to make your names list, how to rate your list. If you don't know how to do that, you're going to go back and listen to those calls. If you don't know how to sample the way Elise samples, go back to those calls and listen, because it will change the way that you've sampled. At least it's changing it for me. Step 3, you're going to schedule 4 classes for your launch week. You're going to guarantee good attendance, and you're going to invite others to host and book classes from your classes, and we're going to talk about how to do that. So step 1, you're going to carefully choose a launch week. It must be within 3 weeks of joining or deciding to build to take advantage of their excitement and momentum. So thinking about your new people that are coming on with you, you're going to teach them right away how to sample to prep for their classes and get 4 classes on the books. And there's laws around this and the psychology of this. The law of diminishing intent, we're most exciting at the beginning. And Newton's first law of motion or inertia says objects that are in motion stay in motion, and objects at rest stay at rest. Also, it's kind of a clue to you. If someone says they want to go diamond, for example, I've had people do this, and then they can't find time to meet with you, they can't find time to do a class, or they want to put you off for like 6 months, that just shows you like who you're working with. They may not be ready at that time, and you're going to look for other people to work with along with them. Maybe later they'll come back around. Step 2, make a list and send samples. So we're going to do a list of at least 100 people, right? We already learned this in the names list call. 1 sample per person. In the call, Elise says when we're first starting, like, we want to try to sample like close to 100 if we can, but you're going to sample at least 30 to 40 people from your list. Inexpensive samples first, and don't address major issues. I'm not going to go over that again, but she talks about why in those calls about sampling. And then have a plan for each person on your list, and target those on your list that have 5 to 7 points from the 7 characteristics of a diamond. And I want to revisit this again. In the past, when I've been working with people, or even myself, when I first started sharing oils, who do we share with first? Usually the people that are the easiest to share with, like our mom, right? Our mother-in-law, our sister, our best friends. And those people might not be 7s on our list. And so when we enroll those people first, those are the people that are on our front lines. And we don't necessarily want those people on our front lines. So we want to sample the 7s first, get them to our classes. We're going to do those business invitations at the end of every class. Make sure you learn how to do that. And that's going to set you up for success as you're doing the 6 weeks to Elite. Step 3, you want to schedule 4 classes in a week. And the reason that we do 4, again, everything that Elise tells us to do is not just willy-nilly. She has tested this. She's put tons and tons of time and money behind all of this training. So let's just trust the process. And when she's scheduled 4 classes in 1 week, not forever, but when you're first launching, let's trust the process and let's do it. So the reason that we have 4, there's several reasons. 1, it gives people the option to choose a time that works for them. And on that webinar, she kind of gives you a sample week and examples of like when she would do the classes, maybe like an afternoon, an evening, a Saturday morning, something like that. So as you're sampling people and then inviting them to classes, gives them 4 different options. So it's really a lot easier to get them to a class because you're going to find one that works in their schedule. So the best chance for finding new builders is in the beginning. So you're getting 4 classes. You're getting 4 of those introduction to the business things that are happening. I don't know what you call that for intro to business, the joy of sharing essential oils, where people are staying for the essential oil treat at the end of the class. You're doing that 4 times. You're also sampling your best people at the beginning. They're 7s. So this is going to give you a lot of chances to find some new builders. You're going to build momentum from class to class. And this suggestion is a minimum for standard builds. Those who want to go faster, you're going to want to teach more. So don't just do 4 if you want to do more, or you want to build far beyond elite, then you can do a lot more classes in a week. You can lose a new builder after 1 bad class, and having multiple classes in the beginning helps prevent this. How many of you have had a first class that has bombed? Okay, we all have had classes where it's bombed, or we haven't felt good about it, or maybe no one ordered. Okay, you're going to have less of that happening when you sample people and do the class this way, but still you're going to have some times where things are not going to go as planned. And so when you have 4 classes in a week, then if the first one is not so great, well, you've already invited people to these other classes and you have them coming, so it's going to be less likely that you're going to quit. You're going to tell your new builder, if you're doing this with them, all right, I'm going to be teaching you a duplication process so that you will be able to teach classes on your own, and your leaders will be able to teach on their own. So I will teach the first class, and you will give a testimonial. In the second class, we will co-teach. In the third class, you will teach and I will close. And in the fourth class, you will teach. So ideally, that's how you're going to launch your builders if you live in the same area and you're local to each other. Of course, we always have builders in other cities that pop up sometimes, so you're going to need to get creative. You're going to need to travel, which is another great thing, to have 4 classes in 1 week, so you can like combine them when you're there over a few day period, or you get creative on Zoom. You know, there's different ways that you can still do this process even if you're not local to each other. This is immersion learning. They won't forget the class if they're going to go through it in 4 times in a week. If you do something 4 times, you're going to get really good at it, and you're going to just kind of be like imperfect action. Maybe you don't feel exactly perfect at it the very first time you do it. You're going to get better each time, and it's going to help you get going in your business a lot sooner than if you do 1 class every few months.
Allison.
Yeah.
Can I add something here?
Yeah.
What's really funny is that when I first started doing this business, I didn't understand the compensation plan or understand the business at all. I would say that would be true for most of us. But anyway, so I thought for fast starts that was only making money off of, I thought I could only make fast start money off of my first 60 days of doing the business, which you guys know that you make 20% fast starts off of like say you enroll Sally, you make 20% off of whatever Sally buys in her first 60 days after she enrolls. But I got it backwards in my mind. And so I thought that I only have 60 days to enroll a lot of people and make 20% fast start, because after my 60 days is up, then I don't make that anymore. So I just kept teaching class after class and enrolling so many people. And I'm like so thankful that I thought that, that I got it backwards, because I got that moment, like Allison's talking about, that momentum. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. All these people want kits. And oh my gosh, I got, we were poor back then, and, not even making it paycheck to paycheck every month. And I'm like, look at this money coming in, $14 check and then a $28 check. And, they'd get, this money was just these little checks coming in here and there. It was like amazing for someone that needs money, right? Anyway, so what Allison's saying about momentum, that's why you want to have a lot of classes, because people get discouraged and bummed after 1 class fail or not a good class, like Allison said. And so just pretend like that you only make 20% in your first 60 days. Let's start your 60 days starting November 1st. Let's see how many classes you can get on the calendar. And let's see how hard you hustle if you think that way. Anyway, it was an honest mistake, but I'm so glad it was the best mistake I could have ever made.
That is so funny. I used to tell people that all the time. I used to also think that power of 3, you only got 1 time. And then you had to move to the next one. So I thought when I got my 50 power of 3, it was just like the first month that I got it. I didn't know you got it every single month. So
That's
it
awesome.
was a nice surprise. So that just shows you do better sometimes when you know less. Sometimes we know too much and we overcomplicate things. So, okay. Thank you for chiming in. Please chime in, Kristen or Jasmine or anyone else on the call. I'm gonna make sure my computer's plugged in. Okay. So this is talking about Elise's first diamond push. She actually went diamond in 62 days, if we haven't already told you that a million times, but it was pretty incredible. And she was very, very strategic. This did not happen by accident. She did 10 classes or one-on-ones a day. She talked about how she had a friend that owned a restaurant, so she just camped out at this restaurant for 2 months basically and had people there and got a discount on food. And so she would have classes there. She would treat people to lunch there and drinks or whatever, and teach this 101 class over and over. She did 10 presentations a day for 3 months. And then she, right off the bat, found out who her leaders were going to be. She offered leadership positions to anyone who could bring 3 committed builders during their first week. And to be successful, we need to be doing a ton of classes and have a ton of people on our list. Do you have to do it this way? No, but it just shows you what is possible. Or if you want to just have this system over, let's say you give it 6 months or a year, just think about how far you can go with doing that. We can go painfully fast. She did it pretty painfully fast, right? But it was worth it and it paid off. Or painfully slow. It's painful either way. I would rather not do it painfully slow. I don't know how you guys feel. Our job is to keep our leaders motivated until their paychecks meet their expectations. While we're building our pipelines and building our paychecks, we have to keep everyone going and do the system and be doing these things that are actually going to move us forward instead of just staying where we are.
Sorry, I want to interject again. Can you go back? Can you go back? Y'all, I think this is really important. Our job is to keep our leaders, our qualifiers, our builders motivated until their paychecks meet their expectations. You know, that may sound really, really hard to keep your people motivated when they're not making the amount of money that you're making yet, or they're not making that amount of money that they see in the build guide yet, right? Like that, I understand, like that's, I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, we all start at the same place making $0. And so I get that that is hard to keep somebody motivating when their paycheck just hasn't caught up yet. But here's the thing that is the best way that you can motivate. Keep your leaders motivated. Keep your team motivated, guys. You want to know what the best way to do that is keep yourself motivated. Like, I can't tell you enough. Like, I'm not saying that you're going to have days that you get down, that you're not going to have days where you get discouraged. We all have those moments. We all have those days, but you gotta be able to lead yourself. Like we talk about this, right? Before different events, we're like, you have to lead yourself. So I'm not saying that you don't feel those feelings of discouragement or frustration in your business, but you have got to train yourself to snap out of it and motivate yourself. Like when you don't feel like doing something, do it anyway. Like that is how the successful people get more successful, is that on days that they don't feel like teaching a class, they don't feel like getting on a team call, they don't feel like going to convention, they don't feel like going to to Elise's Back to Basics training or our Nashville training, they don't feel like doing it, or last minute they want to bail because they don't feel like going and they're tired, they show up anyway. And so I'm telling you, it's going to be really hard to motivate your team if you can't even keep yourself motivated. And I don't say that to like, I say that, I hope that that would encourage you to want to try to really work on motivating yourself a little bit more. Again, we all have our bad days. I'm not saying you're not going to have your times. You're going to have your moments where you just want to cry. I get it. We all have them. But I'm saying is, you know, like, what is your why? Like your why is not big enough if you can't even keep yourself motivated through the seasons, right? And there'll be challenging times and challenging seasons, but you got to get really, really good at motivating yourself so that you can motivate your team. And I think this quote is so true, because a good leader learns how to motivate their team. And it's okay if you don't know how to right now, but as long as you're teachable and you're okay with learning how to grow in this area, then I promise you'll rock it. Because I sure couldn't do it at the beginning, but I hung in there until I learned how to do it. So no worries if you don't know how yet. Just hang in there and be teachable and learn from people who are good at this.
Amen. And again, we don't want to talk too long about your why, but finding your why is so important. And I've heard several times in the past few weeks from people who say they're not motivated by money. And it's really, I don't really think anyone is motivated by just money or having more money. Most of the people on my team don't want to just be rich for no reason. They want to have money for a specific purpose or a passion. And sometimes sometimes that purpose is just to get out of debt, or sometimes that purpose or, that motivating factor for us is to, being able to pay for college or braces or a new fridge or these different things. And none of that is bad. And we could talk about this for a long time. But if you say to yourself, I'm not motivated by money, then that's okay. You need to find what you are motivated by. Elise talked about how they live on a certain budget and they haven't ever increased that in many years. And they make a lot of money as the top rank in doTERRA, right? But she is still building these teams, but it's not for money. And when someone came to her, Jenny Oates in Nashville, wanted to build a diamond in a month, it was a lot of work for her. She didn't want to do it for the money. But Jenny had such a strong why. They have an incredible story of why they need the money for their family personally, but they also want to invest in these healing houses that are just something that's near to their family's heart. And so that why touched Elise's heart, and that became her why of why she wanted to help her build. So I just think it's important. Like, that's why we want our leaders to get bigger paychecks. And that's why, when we say we're not satisfied at being at diamonds or blue diamonds, presidential diamonds, because we know we have people on our team that are silvers, and silver is a great paycheck for a while, but that's not going to allow most people to quit their job full time or invest in things that they really have a heart for. So just a little thing about that. Step 4, ensure good class attendance. Again, listen to Elisa's calls, okay, because I'm not going to exactly say everything that she's going to say, but you have to be really great at that sampling model. Master that and prep your people in the beginning, and that will ensure your success. Over and over, we hear about people saying, I just can't get people to classes. This is the way to work more effectively and get people there. And it's a better way to close your class. So maybe you're good at getting people there, but then people walk away from your class a lot of times saying they felt overwhelmed, or they need to go home and talk to their husband, or they need to research more. All those things are happening when we don't prep our people like this. It can still happen, but it happens less. So the more effective way is more work in the short term, but saves time in the long run. Step 5, book classes off of classes. So we talk about this in the call with the keychain, right? So book or host 2 classes per week for the next 5 weeks and do wellness consults and membership overviews with the enrollees. The hostess incentive, if you'll remember, or she says, oh my gosh, I forgot. I wanted to tell you about this keychain, the keychain that she's been using all throughout the class to bring out samples and give those away. She says anyone who puts a class on the calendar tonight will get to take this free keychain home with you. You can't buy this from me. You get to earn it if you want to host a class. And I will gift you 1 filled vial for every guest that attends your class. And this works really well for her. And for everyone that does this, she books 1 or 2 classes that night from the keychains. If the prep is done well, you will hit elite during the launch week and stabilize it in the following 5 weeks. During the following 5 weeks, you are hosting classes, and the wholesale customers and what is MOs? I don't know. Plus prepping.
Membership overview.
Thank you. Wellness consult membership overviews. I was like, thank you. Plus prepping your hosts on how to sample. It's the most effective way if they sample their friends and family. So if you're crunching the numbers with, like, if you sample 10, prep 10, 8 people come, 6 people purchase with even the most basic kit, you're going to be, and you need 3,000 to hit elite, you can kind of go through, like, you're going to have conservatively around 650 OV per class, how many classes you would need to hit 3,000. Teach hosts the effective way to sample so that they will feel confident and have successful classes. And we also know a lot of people love the Home Essentials kit, which our kits are going to be changing any day now. So I know they're going to be great, but a lot of people, when you're doing the top 10, they see the value in that Home Essentials kit. So you're actually, closing people with over 200 PV versus 100. And then again, I want to revisit, when you are having other people host a class, you want to make sure that they are sampling their people, or you're assisting them with that, so that when you're teaching for them, their people are prepped just as well as they were prepped for your own class. Take the time, do it right, teach duplicable things. Alicia. Okay, why 6 weeks to elite? We want to capitalize on their excitement and give them momentum to start their business strong. That gives them a plan, right? It gives you have confidence, like, this is what we do, and we have a new builder. It's also going to help you attract new builders, because you're not going to subconsciously be thinking, I don't want a new builder because I don't know what to do with a new builder when I get them. I know I've been in that position for a long time. So I'm so excited that I can be on the lookout and know how to find new builders, and I'm going to know how to help them launch once they start. We want to help them find their builders quickly. We want to train them quickly and effectively. We want to grow their team. And we want to create a great fast start bonus for them so that they're paying for their LRP immediately. We want to teach them how to keep momentum going with classes. And we want to teach them how to teach others and duplicate. We have to get so good at duplicating. Everything that we do has to be something that other people look at and say, I can do that too. And that looks easy and that looks fun. So I added in these slides about what to prep, okay? So in 6 weeks to elite, we're doing classes, we're doing sampling, we're doing classes, right? And we're doing membership overviews, and we are booking classes from classes. So you're going to need sample drams. You can do any size, but I like the small ones. So you can get the 1/4 drams. You can get those from doTERRA, Aroma Tools, Share Oils, wherever you need that, wherever you see the best price. Get those and get at least 100 or more, just to have a lot. Don't get 10 at a time, because you're going to be sampling a lot of people. Stickers, okay? You can get those sticker sheets from doTERRA. They're 50 cents, or you can get specialized ones from Share Oils. There's lots of other sticker websites. If you don't have stickers and you don't want to invest in those, use the plain white circle labels with a Sharpie pen and call it a day, okay? Don't overthink stickers. Don't let that hold you back if you have everything else that you need. Elise uses the A to Z guides when she samples, but if you still have Healthy Can Be Simple from Empowered Success, use those, use up what you have. And then the A to Z guides are on oillife.com. There's other ones that are similar to that. The A to Z is great with the sampling method, just because there are lots of ailments in there that people can look up. The keychains, you can get those on Aroma Tools. doTERRA selling them. Don't buy a ton of these right now. Just get what you need to incentivize your hostesses. doTERRA is hopefully going to be giving us a better deal on these. Emily Wright is working on that. So, but you're going to need a few keychains, right, to book your classes. You're going to need reference books for your classes. If you're like me, you have a Modern Essentials and you have 3 or 4 Oil Life books from the last few years, and that's okay. You're going to need those for your classes. If you don't know why, again, go listen to the class daily mentor calls and the Zoom call that Brittany and Diana did about classes. But you're going to have those out at your classes. Use what you have. It's okay if the book is a couple editions old. It's still going to work. But I am going to use also those little small Essential Life books that have a spiral. So those are cheaper and easier to to carry with you to classes. You're going to find your preferred class tear sheet or handout, or there's a really simplified version that we posted in Dream Team. Elise does her class with no handout, pretty sure, or you can just decide, but just decide what you're going to do for a handout if you're going to use one. And then you're going to schedule your classes and work backwards. So 4 classes in the first week, 1 week off for prep, then 2 classes a week after that is what she says in the call, but you don't have to take a week off for prep. That's just what she said in the webinar that she did. So if you want to have your first 4 classes like the first week in November, if you want to go to Elite in November, or you want to help 3 people go Elite in November, and you're going to do this, like if you're going Silver and you have 3 people that want to go Elite, then you need to be sampling like crazy right now, right? And doing all of that before you have your first 4 classes. So you might want to pick the second week in November if you need to, but just know what your goal is by the end of November, and then work your way backwards. And then what you need to learn how to make a names list, how to rate it. If you don't know that yet, go back and listen to the call. It's easy, but this is going to help you get started. You need to know the sampling method, what to say, who to start with, how to teach the class. You need to role play this until you know this like the back of your hand. You're going to record yourself. You're going to practice it. And then when it's time, you're going to take imperfect action. It's going to take some practice to get better at it, but just do it scared, and you're going to get better as you go along. And those of you that have been doing this, you've said, it's still working for me, even though I felt a little clunky, even though I was a little bit like nervous, like people still enrolled and people still loved it. So just take that as some encouragement that it doesn't have to be perfect to work, but still do your best to like prepare. You're going to learn how to do 3-way calls with your upline and your downline, because you're going to be finding new builders, and the 3-way calls are going to help you with that. And so we're going to be talking about those on Zoom, but like start listening to those calls. Go ahead and start listening to them. And then how to follow up with enrollments with wellness consults and continuing education. Don't worry about continuing education right now. Don't stress yourself out about that. That's something that's coming later on. But you do need to, after your classes, schedule the wellness consults. Make sure you listen to the calls on those. So what are CCs? Okay, I talked with Kristen today, and we wanted to make sure that everybody knows what a CC is. This is in the calls that are, it's actually call 43. So, but you kind of need to know what a CC is when you're doing 6 weeks to Elite. And I'll tell you why. So, and this is from the Daily Mentor Call 43. So a CC means a committed and capable builder. Committed means that they do what they say they're going to do. When they say they'll do it. You determine commitment by how they treat their earliest commitment with doTERRA. Do they keep their appointments with you? When you ask them to watch a video or read an email, do they do it? People that are ready to do this and committed, and you say, hey, I just want you to listen to these first 3 calls on the Daily Mentor Call, and then text me as soon as you're done. If you don't hear from them, and you have to keep checking in, then they might not be committed. Capable means that they're bringing people to the table. They can figure things out. They can sign people up. You determine capability by watching if they can get people to classes, bring people to you, or enroll people themselves. And they can also tap into resources to learn to do these things themselves. Those of you that have been building a while, you can think right now of who your committed and capable builders are, right? They are the ones that are on this call tonight. They are seeking out information. They are, when BOGOs are happening, they know what they are early in the morning. They figure things out. They know how to sign people up. They're capable and committed. You know that they're going to be there. You know that they're going to show up. And there's some people that you're like, hey, did you know that it's like holiday items today? They're like, what are holiday items? Okay, they might not be committed and capable because they're just not tuned into what's going on. They might be a sharer, and that's okay. So, you know what I mean? Not to call anyone out, but you know people that are committed and capable, and those are the people that you want on your team. And also, she talks about in this call that you want to utilize the 14-day placement window to determine if a builder is committed and capable. Don't guess. Give them chances to demonstrate it. Give them a test. It can be a little test. They don't have to read like 10 books or something to prove it to you, but give them a little test of like, hey, watch this, listen to this, do this, and get back to me. And if they are committed and capable, they'll do it. If not, then if they don't do it, then they're probably not. Someone who doesn't demonstrate both committed and capability is great for your second level. These are valuable builders who will likely require more time and energy from you, which is why they won't go on your front line. By keeping a high standard for your closest business partners, you show up like a professional who can attract the kind of partners you are looking for. This doesn't mean you disregard people who don't fit your mold perfectly. You welcome all to your team, and you also make smart decisions about your resources of time and energy. So I don't want anyone here to hear me saying that if there's someone on your team right now that is struggling, that you just give up on them, start a new leg, okay? You're going to still help the people that want to work with you, help the people that are sharing, that are building in their own time. They're still your people, and you don't need to just like ditch them, okay? You also don't need to ditch a leg that has volume on it unless you talk with your upline and have like serious reasons why you would do that, okay? But when you're brand new, or maybe you have 3 legs, you're silver and you're wanting to start, or maybe you're platinum and you're wanting to start a diamond leg, you're going to be picky about who that 4th leg is. You're not going to put somebody there who's not committed and capable. Does that make sense? So ideal team structure, in a perfect world, our committed and capable builders are on a level 1, our top line. But we know I am someone that has a CC on my 3rd level, and she's my qualifier, and that's okay. So you can also go down and find qualifiers, or qualifiers might emerge later on. But ideally, if you're doing this and finding CCs, or you have a new builder and you're asking them to bring CCs to the table when they're doing 6 weeks to elite, then you're asking them to only put their committed and capable builders on their front line versus their mom necessarily, or somebody that's not really going to do the business. Okay. Doesn't mean you never use a ghost builder, or you never use your mom, but like ideally you're taking the time to find CCs. Okay. Level 2 would be committed or capable builders. Maybe they're one or the other. And level 3 would be customers and shares. So that volume is 3 levels down and helping qualify the level 1s. Okay, this is just like a for instance. So like in the when I first started, I didn't know how to find CCs, and a lot of my team didn't know how to find CCs because I didn't help them do that. And again, when we sample people that are the easiest people to sample, those are the people end up enrolling first and ending up on our front lines. So your front line might look like this. It might be your mom that has a bunch of volume because you put all your people under her and your family. It might be someone like Dr. Dan. I have somebody like this in my team, okay, who hits elites on BOGO months, and he lets you host classes, but he wants you to just go ahead and build a team for him, right? That's so convenient for him. And then best friend Becky, she loves the oils, and she's maybe tried a lot of things like specialized class supplies, and she's spent all this money and she's had people quit, so she's lost faith in the business because she didn't have a trustworthy system like this. So she's worked really hard, she's invested a lot, but she hasn't really known how to find builders and known how to duplicate. Does this resonate with any of you? If this is your team, or you have 3 builders like this, you're not going to ditch all of these and go to a new leg. Okay, unless you talk to your upline and they tell you like, yes, you need to do that. You can find CCs either 2, 3, 4 levels down. You can also engage these people with the system and just offer them the opportunity to do it, listen to it, and they might love it and engage, okay? You also, like somebody like your mom, it might be time to find a CC and have the confidence to transfer them into that spot, or find the CC, put them on this, 3rd level, I'm not going to talk strategies and placements like a ton because I don't want anyone to take my word as like Bible. I want you to talk to your upline. But we're trying to avoid this, okay? So a newbie Nancy that starts out with the daily mentor calls, and she is rating her names list, and she's sampling her sevens, 5, 6s, and 7s, and she is inviting them to her classes first, and she is talking to people that have influence, that they love natural things, that they are ages 30 to 55, is that right? And they have a supportive spouse. So she's found 3 CCs when she's first beginning. And when you're first doing it like this, you might enroll the PTO Pres Patty, okay? She knows and loves a lot of people, and she loves natural things. And she's already brought 3 people to the table because you've asked her to, because she wants to do this business, and you said, okay, who else wants to do it with you? And then you have somebody that has their eyes on diamond, and they've built businesses in the past, somebody like Elise Chedevy, but they love the low risk investment involved with network marketing, and they love oils, and they want to do this with you. Or you might find a CC that's a good friend who loves the community doTERRA offers, and she has a strong why that she wants to send her son to a private school that's the best fit for him. So do you see how these are 3 CCs possibly that are better than just enrolling the low hanging fruit that we have in front of us when we first start our business? You're doing it with intention. Okay, so that's 6 weeks to elite. What questions do we have? Let's see, I'm gonna stop the share. Okay, I knew there was lots of questions in the chat. What else, Kristen?
What questions you guys have? Feel free to unmute yourself. I know you have questions. Y'all ready to do 6 weeks to elite like next week? Actually, this would be your this week would be your prep week. So if you should have, hopefully you've started sampling, but if you haven't, then take this week to prep, sample, and invite people to your classes in November. Anyone have any specific questions about 6 weeks to elite or CCs? Wow, that means Allison must have explained it really well. There you go, Allie. But really, if you guys have a question, you can ask. Okay, so you all feel really clear about...
Kristen, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the call with the upline supposed to look like? I don't know if that was a call, if I missed it, or what exactly does that look like?
Like
so that's a 3-way call. So there is a daily mentor call and 3-way calls, and there's a script. And so we're going to do that. Is that next week, Kristen?
Yeah.
So that'll be the training next week. But if you want to go ahead and like learn, go ahead, you can go listen to that call. It's basically just helping get on a call to help somebody that's a new builder and determine if they're a CC, and also just have them hear another voice besides you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have not completed all 50 calls yet. Do you guys know which call? Because I have 2 friends that are going to be hosting classes. I need a little bit of tip, because that's going to be next week, on how they are supposed to, like, how do I help them sample their people?
That would be call number, it's 40 something. Allison, do you know it?
Oh, it's way ahead. Okay.
There's one that says like,
Chantel says 41. So I can go ahead and bounce up to that, because these classes were booked like quite some time ago. One more question. Is it, if you have somebody else hosting a class for you and she's adamant because she's calling her friends, I approached her and said that we don't want to have any food during this, but these are people that have kind of been at other people's classes that friends have hosted and made them really pretty and exciting and stuff. How do I word it correctly to where it's like, it's really hard because she's hosting it for me. I'm not hosting this class. She's like, I can't have my friends come to my house and you're telling me not to have food? And it's kind of like, okay, how am I gonna, because they've seen the mistake that maybe I've made is I've posted where like so-and-so hosted a class and, and that's not kind of helping in this situation. How do I word this? Because this is just a customer that's going to host a class. She's not a builder or anything like that.
I would say you can have food. It's just going to be at the last 20 minutes of the class. That way, everyone can get through all the class, have the interactive class, have lots of fun, potentially win some free prizes during the class. So we've just found that we have found through all this trial and error through our classes in the past that it is best to keep the food in the last 20 minutes of the class. And
right.
Look, for those of you that have been on our calls, the last 20 minutes is the business intro class. They stay after they enroll to listen to the business. So they don't get food until they sit down and listen to the business.
Because in her thing, she's like, the time that one of them have scheduled is like right from work. Like she's invited in a way, just come straight from work and I'm going to have food for you. So there's no excuse for them, So I'm like, okay. And maybe I'll have to just let these two slide until I can get it. Because they've seen it, at the other ones. This one of my customers who's hosting this class was at another class that it was like a whole French parade of food and stuff. So
that's if you listen. I just got this text message. If you listen to calls 11 through 27, they talk about food.
No, they talk about food. You're right. I'm past that, but it was about how to tell but I'll go to 41 because I need to know how they are supposed to sample, how I help her to sample her people. So I'll go to 41. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. You'll do great. It'll be great.
Worst case, let her have the food. I mean, I would just say, this is what I prefer. Can we do it this way? And if she's just like a hard no, then like,
yeah. And
still have a great class. I've had lots of classes with food and I still.
Right.
But I would save those peppermint brownies for the business intro the last 20 minutes. People will stay for the brownies.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, just so everyone's clear, I hope you all understand this. If not, please speak up because we want to make sure you understand it. You need to be your 4 classes need to be scheduled like ASAP, and they need to be on your calendar tonight, tomorrow, have them on your calendar. And right now you're sampling people to invite to those classes. And then you got to make sure you remember how to book classes from classes. So you're starting in November, the first week of November, ideally. You can choose your start week. So first week of November, second week of November, whatever. Choose your start week. But I mean, why not start the first of the month, right? Because then you have more time to hit your rank goals or more time to just really rock it. So anyway, make sure you have your dates for your classes and you're sampling people, you're prepping people, you're inviting people to your classes, you're using the scripts that Elise says to do it in. So I understand you're not going to have all of this memorized. Use your notes, use your papers, print out the scripts and look over them. Anyway, but get ready to rock November and December. This is a great business plan. If you want a strategy call with your upline, schedule a strategy call with your upline and really like draw out circles. Like this is really a sharer. This person's a CC. Okay, this person's a CC. This person's really just a product user who says they're a CC, but they're really just a user. Just draw out your tree with circles and put everybody what they really are in there. A product user, a sharer, maybe one C, they're committed but not capable, they're capable but not committed, or a CC. And I will say one thing we figured out when we were in Prague, when we were drawing out our trees and stuff, is some people may not look like a CC right now. Maybe they used to be, but right now they're not because they're not committed anymore. But maybe, and this may not be true for everybody, but maybe they're not committed because they've been trying to do this business the old way. And so they're not committed because they've lost all hope and faith, right? So maybe when they really jump on with this new way of doing this business and this way that's duplicatable, this way that anybody can do it because you're sampling people, maybe they'll start to be committed now that they actually have hope and a plan for their business. Whereas before it was just kind of like, well, maybe I'll do good at it. I don't know. We'll see. Nobody shows up to my classes. Well, nobody shows up to our classes because they haven't had a positive oil experience. And they haven't had a positive oil experience because they weren't sampled correctly. And you can just kind of go backwards to see where the problem is. So maybe when our builders actually have a plan laid out like this of like, oh, well, I wish I had this to begin with. Well, oh, great. This is what I'm saying. I'm so thankful we have this now because we can Rejump start our business now. So people may turn into CCs again that used to be stopped and once they just get that hope and faith again in their business. So anyway, talk to your upline. And if you have any questions, reach out to one of your diamond uplines that went to Prague and they can clarify some more stuff around that, or schedule a call with them. So anyway,
give everyone an opportunity to learn this. And if they say no right now, then you lead by example by you doing it, and they're going to see your success, and that might give them some hope and belief. A lot of us have tried a lot of different things. We've had a lot of distractions. We've had a lot of coaches. We've had a lot of make and takes. We've had a lot of all these things, right? And some people are just like, I don't want to hear about one other thing right now. And like, they just hear these calls and they're like, I'm just not interested. I've had people tell me like, I love you, but I can't listen to them right now. And I've just respected that. And I want to show them, I want to build belief by me doing it and by my team doing it that is excited. And so I just want to encourage you, like, don't give up on people yet, but give everyone, even if you think they're not interested, make sure you reach out and give them the opportunity and tell them about these calls. So that everyone has an invitation if they're ready to do it. But you're exactly right, Kristen. Jenna was asking Kristen.
Allison, can you mute that person?
Sorry, who is it?
Okay, what was the question?
Jenna was asking. Okay, so after 6 weeks to Elite, then basically like the success schedule is saying do one class a week at the same time and same place every week. Is that's correct? And then if people are hosting, that could be in addition to it as well, right?
You're saying Elise was saying?
Yeah, Jenna is asking that question and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds right. Like 6 weeks to Elite is 4 classes, and then you're going to do like 1 or 2 classes a week until like while you're launching. But then the success schedule is 1 class a week, the same night, same time, same place.
Yeah. But right now you're going to be not just doing that. You're going to be doing a whole lot more classes because it's 6 weeks to Elite. Basically, as many classes you can do it. It will benefit your business for sure. And it's cold and flu season, y'all. It's not like we're trying to do this some other time of the year. Like, it really is the best time to do it. So go help so many people. Tips on sampling local folks when you've just moved to town without strangers in the street. Oh, Amy Connor, my sister-in-law, she's military, so that with my brother, and they move around a lot, and they just moved to a brand new city and knew nobody, and Amy is rocking it. She's getting enrollments left and right. Amy, are you still on the call? She may have had to hop off.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
Tell people when they move to a new town, how do they do this?
So what I did, actually, my brand new builder, Erica, is on the call too. And who's my next door neighbor?
Erica's the one that asked.
Erica, you asked?
Unless there's another Erica.
Erica.
I'm so sorry. I totally asked Amy.
Oh.
Erica, how do I meet people?
I can help you. So there's a ton of different ways. So when you just move, it's reaching out and like it's networking. So obviously, like I was searching on different Facebook pages for the best chiropractor, the best where do I get my hair done and things like that. So I'm always talking about it. Like, even if I'm kind of making a joke about it, like my personal trainer, my physical therapist was a great example, because I was like, oh, hey, who is this deep or biofreeze in this office? And I was like, are you sure you don't want to try some deep blue rubs? So I sampled him. And he started talking about how his shoulder hurts. So I'm like, you know, that sample I gave you, you should really use it. And I'm like, so my next session, I'm going to talk to him about it. I think the other thing is just, Erica, use your kids, use the boys. I use Caden and Chloe, like my older set of twins. I use them a lot. It's just like talking to people and then listening to people when we're out and about. For meeting like people I didn't know, posting on Facebook, using specific wording if they're like, because we live on post, there is the Facebook pages. So I posted, hey, I have a ton of extra stuff or extra samples, and I love to give them to you guys. So I had people connect with me that way. A lot of the times the people I didn't know were contacting me through that. So yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different ways. I love to use my kids with dance and baseball, and then friends. And just when I talk to people, I listen to what they say, and I start to just connect the dots with an oil in my head. And I may not bring it up to them right then, but I always have samples on me that I can just, half the time I'm like, I heard you talking about that you couldn't sleep the other night. Be like, would you want to try a sample of essential oil? So it's that. And Erica, I can help you. I know where you live.
Sorry, I didn't realize who was asking what, but there's other people that will benefit from hearing that.
Oh yeah.
Allison, do you have any other last tips for when you don't know anybody?
Well, I moved to Kansas City 3 years ago, and I started my business in Nashville, and I did have some friends here, but I found like my business grew a ton just from moving because I was meeting so many people that were new. Like, we were visiting new churches, and every time I would meet new friends, I would friend them on Facebook, and they would see what I do, and they would ask about it. And I was, meeting new moms and at the school. So just look at it as an opportunity instead of something that holds you back. Sometimes like new people are so much more receptive to us than people that have known us a long time, honestly. Like, I just had a lot of success when I first moved. So just use that momentum, and you're in this new space where it's like really normal that you're going to reach out and try to be meeting new people because you are new, and people are going to like say like, oh my gosh, yes, like you're new here and you're wanting to make friends. Like, it's just going to make it a really natural way to talk to people about what you do. So be ready to share what you do, and don't cop out and say you're a stay-at-home mom or something like that. Say, I have a doTERRA business, and like talk to them about oils.
It totally worked. If I can jump in, I was talking to someone today because Liam and Madeline, my 2-year-olds, were playing with another lady that was down the street, one of her boys. And I mentioned something about my business trip at Prague. And she's like, wait, she goes, your business sent you to Prague? And I was like, oh yeah. And she goes, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I sell essential oils. And she goes, well, dang, maybe I need to start selling essential oils. So she's on my list to follow up with now.
That's awesome. That's so good. Well, awesome. Does anybody have any other questions before we wrap it up? All right. If you do, just go to your upline or post in Dream Team. But good luck, everybody, restarting your business. I'll be praying for you all, and let's all do this together. Bye, guys.